Welcome. In today's video, we have a $600 PC that has great price to performance, aesthetic, and repeatable. We're gonna go through the specs, the building process, and also the benchmarks of games. So stay tuned, let's go. First things first, we have this MSI motherboard that I got on an open box deal. It is the MSI B550A Pro, and yeah, sometimes they are a bit interesting. Looks a tad bit dusty, but probably is fine. All right, so anyways, this is normally a pretty decent board to get here. You don't really need B550 for our CPU, which is the Ryzen 5 3600 I got on AliExpress. Now, right now, this CPU is like the only CPU that's worth getting on AliExpress, but this is used. Still pretty solid CPU, and the next best thing is the Ryzen 5 5600, which is what I prefer here, but we're not able to get that at a good price. Slot that in, and then easily snaps on. Now next up, the RAM. We have Cleese here, 32 gigabytes. I've used this kit many times on this channel. It's not the best, but it's a 32 gigabyte kit at 3200 megahertz. All right, so we're gonna pop back to second, 4 slot here, then line up like this. Then kind of snap it in. Now, I'm just gonna unscrew this NVMe bracket. Anyways, our NVMe of choice is the G50 from T-Force. Now, the reason I picked this one up in specific is because it was on a pretty decent deal, and I bought a bunch of them, around $50, which is pretty good. And we're able to just take it like this and then line it up. Then we could just line up the NVMe, and we should be able to screw it back in. And then to cool our CPU, we have this MONTECH NX400 ARGB. Now, MONTECH sent me this and also the case, so don't worry, I'll be honest here. And I've never used a MONTECH cooler before, so I'm excited to try that out. Here we have the manual. Then nicely packaged and the fan already attached. Then we have all the stuff we may need here. All right, so with our little screw bag. Came with some thermal paste. And it looks like we're gonna be using this bag along with these screws, along with these brackets. All right, so right here, we can apply our thermal paste, just kind of squeeze it all out. Now we can take our little standoffs and just place them in. Then we can take our bracket and screws here, and then take the other one. And then now we can take our air cooler, peel off the plastic. And well, this is gonna be only possible if we remove the fan actually. Now we can kind of just line it up and then evenly tighten them in. Then we can take our fan, pull brackets out and clip it in. And right over here, I could just plug in the CPU fan cord, and we can worry about the RGB later. And yeah, that is it for the motherboard. All right, now we move on to the case. This is the MONTECH X5. And they sent this case to me, so we're about to check this out. I believe it's an ATX case, so that's why I also use that motherboard. I'll be honest if it's good or not. I'm really excited there's more and more budget case options coming out. Pop back this panel, and yeah, this looks pretty nice. With a little bit of a textured front, I can definitely tell this will have good airflow. Now we're gonna unscrew the back here to get all the screws, and then we grab this bag right here. Now we can install our motherboard. All right, so we don't have to actually do anything with these standoffs. We're gonna take our IO shield here. Now we should be able to just slide in our motherboard. Now we can take screws that look like these, and then just screw them all in. Good. All right, now we got the motherboard in. Actually just going to go to the back now. Here we have a bundle of cables that we're just gonna let loose. All right, so with all these cables, I'm now gonna route them to the front of the case just so we have good cable management there. First, the HD audio, I know it's gonna go through here. Then with the USB 3.0, we'll route that towards the middle. Then our USB also goes down through the middle, technically the right side. And then we're gonna take our F panel and then put that through the left side here. And then take our USB Type-C and then kind of put it up here. All right, so basically we have our HD audio in the bottom left here, USB in the middle, USB 3.0 right next to it, and then the F panel, leave a graph of what that looks like, and then Type-C right here. Now what's really left to do is connect the power supply, and I'm gonna be using some cable extensions from Formula Mod I got on AliExpress. All right, so first I'm plugging our CPU here into the top left, and we can run our motherboard cable through there, and then plug it in. Now let's go to the back and actually add our power supply. And the power supply I'm using today is what I use like every single time, the Secotep 650 watt. And if you're wondering why I use this every single time, it's because it is only $55 on Amazon, especially for a gold rating. Now I'm gonna slide it fan down nice and easily. Then I can grab our screws, line it up, and then screw it in. All right, now we have a huge mess to deal with. So let's just take out everything we need. PCIe, I'm just gonna route that through into the front to make it easier. Then a SATA, which we actually need for our case here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and plug in. Then we have our CPU, which can just plug into our cable extension. And now we can kind of just take the rest of these cables except for one. Now we can take our motherboard cable here and just plug it in. And this is what the cable management will look like. I'm just making sure everything works first. Now, what we have left here is 2 ARGB ports, which we're just gonna plug into the motherboard. Looks like one is in the bottom right of the motherboard, so bottom left of the case here. And then this other one we could put in the top of our motherboard here. And yeah, pretty much everything is in. I plugged in the RGB here and here, just so you know. And now I'm just gonna remove these brackets and then pop back our PCIe, or just make sure it is. Now we have our GPU, the RTX 3060 Ti. Now this GPU is still perfect around a price range. We had to spend around $200 to $250, and this meets right in the middle. Pay around $220 for this one specifically. Kind of didn't realize, but it comes with a 12-volt power. To do that, we can just plug in our power cable. Now we can take this and solder it in. I can screw it in. Move it towards the middle here. Make sure it's fully plugged in. And yeah, that kind of slots right in there. Our $600 RTX 3060 Ti PC with a Ryzen 5 3600. The motherboard, the CPU, and the GPU are used, but we're about to decide if this made a good PC in this MONTECH X5 case and their NX400 air cooler. Let's test out some games. Starting us off, we have Fortnite at 1440p performance mode, and the rest are on low settings. Basically, this is just the standard for pros and with an addition of 1440p. So this is definitely what I would recommend playing on, and as we can see, we're getting around 180 to 200 FPS. That is around what I saw, even though the average FPS in the 1% low doesn't really match that. There'll be a few lag spikes because it's the first game, but trust me, it will run way smoother as you start playing. And yeah, ultimately 1440p runs pretty decent. And now we're on 1080p to see if it really changes anything, and to be honest, it doesn't. I think it adds like 15 to 20 FPS on average more than 1440p, but I'll just always take that 1440p just because the quality is so much better. So yeah, definitely runs Fortnite good enough. I was expecting more FPS to be honest, but I guess we'll see what the rest of the games perform as. Next up, we have Marvel Rivals, and we're running it at 1440p with super resolution off with low settings, which is what I just recommend for all of these benchmarks. And as we can see, it's like 85, 90 FPS, sometimes closer to 100. I mean, it is playable, but for like an esports game, I wouldn't recommend these settings for this. So I'm just going to turn on some NVIDIA DLSS with performance. And now we can see closer to 120 FPS. Definitely much more playable. I would say this is good enough. Now this game is hard to run, so let's try some 1080p as well. I don't think it's going to be that much better, and yeah, as we can see, the performance isn't really any different, and to be honest, my team isn't really playing either, so this is just but the game is just hard to run. If you're looking for more FPS, I'd recommend a better GPU. Now onto Cyberpunk, a game that's difficult to run. The first test started at high settings with just DLSS enabled, and it got an average of 90 FPS, which is already a good sign. The game looks amazing, especially at 1440p. Continue on, we're trying ray tracing low, which keeps the texture quality high, and DLSS on, and 69 FPS on average, which, I mean, it's above 60 still, so if you really want ray tracing, I guess it's still playable, especially since this is a game that you want at least 60 FPS on. And then to really test out the game at low settings, we are getting 120 FPS. Still at 1440p, so the game actually looks pretty decent, I would say. And actually, these are the settings I'd probably play at. This game is definitely playable, but if you're looking for like super high quality, obviously this budget is not for you. It's more like an esports machine, but it can definitely run games like Cyberpunk. So let me know what you guys think down below.